As you guys know, I'm a big fan of Dexter. We watched the Dexter New Blood trailer the other day with chat, and that was really fun. Had some good DESHcussions about Dexter. So today I wanted to check out this New Blood trailer breakdown that really piqued my interest. He kind of dives deep into the trailer, kind of like we did with The Matrix, remember? Where they went in and like they found all these like Easter eggs and things we may have missed. How many of you are a Dexter fan and have watched Dexter? If you are you super excited for the reboot? Who has never watched Dexter, but now that the reboot is coming out, wants to actually go back and watch? Showtime is actually doing like a free 30 days, so you can totally binge the entire series if you get on it. 100% a Dexter fan. I love it. I think it's really cool that Michael C. Hall and Jennifer Carpenter, is that the one who plays Deborah? Let's see, Deborah Morgan, actress. Yeah, it is Jennifer Carpenter. I love how do you guys know? So they play siblings on the show. A spoiler if you didn't know. But they were married in real life. How weird is that? And then they got divorced and now they're working together again. I mean, just props to the actors that can have that level of professionalism. I mean, I feel like that'd be so hard and so weird, but obviously they're cool. And that's pretty crazy. Yeah, what the heck? I know. You love Dexter. You just refuse to ever watch the last season if I have to again. Oh my gosh, Jacko. Just skip like the last episode. I think the last season was great. But what I do think, Jacko, is that they completely made like the Dexter character have like a 180. Like I really believe that he had changed and, you know, there was like this whole thing. And then I won't spoil again, but whatever happened in the last episode was like a 180 in the other direction. It was like a Jamie Lannister moment. It was like, no, everything we've been hyping up the entire arc of the entire series, we're just gonna literally throw out the window. I was like, seriously, I was so mad. I was so mad. That's kind of a spoiler? No, it is not. I did not give away any major spoilers, not at all. What do you mean? You just spoiled the whole character development plot. No, you don't know. If you don't know, you don't know. But if you know, you know. You know what I mean?
They don't know that we know they know we know.
You do? And there's a reason you only watched once. I mean, so, I don't know how you guys feel, but when there's a show I absolutely love, I do love to go back and rewatch because once you do know what's about to happen, it's like fun to go back and like pick up on little like foreshadowing and stuff that the writers do. Oh my gosh, I love that stuff. I watched Game of Thrones probably 6 or 7 times by now. I've watched Breaking Bad a few times. Like some of my favorite shows, I'll go back and rewatch. Friends, I've watched like 100 times. I thought this was just gonna be like a one-off episode or two. And the fact that they're actually bringing back the show gives me so much hope. I feel like it's actually like a full-on reboot. Do you guys get that idea? Like, I feel like they're actually like it's gonna be a whole season, like an actual reboot. Did anybody watch Prison Break? Because that was a fantastic show, excellent cast, amazing writing, so good. And I'm super bummed because they actually did a reboot of that show, brought it back, but then I feel like after 1 or 2 episodes or maybe even a season, it just fizzled out. And I don't know what happened with it. It got canceled or something, but I was so bummed because it was actually, they were doing a good job with the reboot. But did you guys know they were making like or actually what happened to that? Weren't they making an Archer? Hold on, weren't they making an Archer live action? And they were gonna have like John Hamm be in it, weren't they? Oh wow, I'm seeing a lot of different people come up. Matt Bomer, Ian Somerhalder. There's a lot of people that can play Archer, but so sad the voice actor that actually, yes, H. Sean Benjamin, the actual voice actor for Archer sadly looks nothing like Archer. Poor guy. But man, he does such a good job with Archer's voice, but so sad. Can you imagine that you like, you know, spend years playing this character and then somebody else comes in and just ends up taking over and like becoming that character with a totally different voice? And it'd probably be so hard to line up the actual voice actor with the actual actor that you're used to hearing a certain way. Like that would be so weird, right? Another example of this is you guys know Uncharted, the game? So Nolan North does the voice of Nathan Drake in Uncharted. Isn't there like a movie they were making actually with Tom Holland, Spider-Man, right? I think he was gonna play like a young Nathan Drake or something. I don't know what happened to that either. Just have Nicolas Cage started, it'd be okay. Nicolas Cage, we were just talking about him the other day. He's an amazing actor, but he'll do anything. Like, he will literally do any script, even if it's absolute garbage, he will do it. But he's such a good actor that he gets a pass. Nolan North voices so many great video game characters. Have you seen him act, Aaron? He played like a dad on Pretty Little Liars, one of the dads, and he was so good. I love him as an actor, too. Every Nicolas Cage movie are your favorite bad movies? Have you seen him, Cheebs, in Matchstick Men with Sam Rockwell? Like back in the day. It's such a chilling movie. It is done so well. Ghost Rider, your favorite bad movie? Your favorite? What is everybody's favorite bad movie? So that must mean that it's like, maybe it's got a cult following. What about The Big Lebowski, guys? Has anybody seen The Big Lebowski? I don't know if that counts as like a bad movie, but it's like kind of hilarious. It's got like John Goodman and Steve Buscemi. All right. Should we watch this? So, guys, this is Dexter New Blood official trailer breakdown. Let's check it out.
Monsters walk among us. I might still be a monster, but I'm an evolving monster.
Hey guys, Pete here. There's an official trailer out for Dexter New Blood, and I'm going to give that a closer look as there's a lot of interesting stuff going on. It gives us our first real glimpses of both Harrison and Deb, and overall it's the most complete and exciting thing they've put out so far. I'm going to break it down, and I'm going to tie that in with all the other things we've heard about the Dexter revival, so if any of that sounds like spoilers to you, then this is your chance to leave. The full trailer builds on the teasers that came before it, revisiting and extending some of the shots, which adds more context.
I do love how this is shot. It makes me want to go to this town.
Gives us a better idea about the story of the new season. It opens with Dexter getting pulled over while driving his truck into town. There's a knife on his passenger seat and he looks nervous.
Cleaver!
But no need to worry, it's really just his girlfriend playing around. She's the chief of police in this fictional small town where he lives, Iron Lake, New York, which has a population of less than 3,000 residents. You get the impression that Dex, who's now living under the assumed name Jim Lindsay, is managing to fit in. He works at the local fish and game store. He's still the donut guy, or maybe it's the cinnamon roll guy.
If you guys saw the original Dexter, there was this whole thing with like donuts. Like he would come and bring donuts like to the office every day, and everyone was like, oh, you know, we love Dexter. And he did this whole like where he was like seemingly fitting in. And so like the fact that they're bringing that back with now cinnamon rolls is just so hilarious. I think that was so like well done. And I just want to say, I feel like Jim Lindsay totally seems like an actual alias that Dexter would have. It seems like a real name. I don't know. I feel like it's like a perfect name. And then for this little town, like I feel like it's just like so fitting.
Now, and he seems to be well known and well liked around town. In the voiceover, he says, "This is my life, a wolf among sheep."
Go
From
Hawks.
what Michael C. Hall and showrunner Clyde Phillips have said in interviews, Dexter is trying to keep his urges to kill under control, and part of that is relocating himself to this remote place.
Look how cool
with
this area
less
looks.
people and therefore less potential victims. They've also hinted that something will happen to cause him to fear that his dark passenger will reveal itself. In one of the previous
I love how they went from Florida, which was super like hot and, you know, like beach weather basically, to like the middle of nowhere, it seems like, and like the snow. I feel like that contrast is going to be so cool and so different. Like it's a completely different setting, so it won't feel too repetitive or too samey.
Teasers, you could see a reflection of a victim wrapped in plastic on a kill table as he stood in front of a window. And here you could see he's throwing hefty bags into a fire in an effort to destroy evidence. And we will come back to that. One of the new sequences we see is his girlfriend Angela hanging up a missing persons sign in the police station. When Dexter asks her about it, we get the impression that this is a case that's ongoing and she has no bodies, no pattern. Someone's getting away with making people disappear. There's a shot of a girl hitchhiking at night. She gets picked up by a semi. And you hear Angela say, people don't just disappear. There's always a reason. Which is funny considering Dexter faked his own death so he could disappear. There's a lot of shots of him running around, looking at knives, sharpening his blades, that sort of stuff. They're all mixed in there in the background as he thinks about the potential of someone being out there that he could justifiably kill. He's thinking about what Angela said. He says, if she's right, how many other victims are there? There's a lot here that invokes the humor of the series,
which I
his
love.
Awkwardness around other people.
I love that they did such a great job.
He crosses off the date on his calendar with a red marker, and it spills out, dripping on the floor like blood.
So if you know the character Dexter well, things like that they always had. They had it actually in the trailer for I think the pilot, and I think it was for maybe even a couple seasons. But go watch the pilot intro or something at some point, because they did this really cool effect where like he'll be making, was it eggs or something, and then he put hot sauce on it or something would spill. I'm trying to remember, but there was like certain things and it's like everything seems like blood even though it's not. You know what I mean? And I feel like that like always like makes him like, you know, sense his dark passenger.
Quite a few calendars there. There's at least 6 of them hanging on his wall where you can see that he was crossing off the dates. I'm not sure if that's to indicate how many days he's been in Iron Lake or how long it's been since he had his last
Oh my
kill.
gosh.
And you get the idea when he's looking at the marker dripping on the floor that he's reaching his breaking point.
Yeah, I
In
wonder
the
which
first
it is.
dialogue we hear from Deb, it sounds like she's addressing that same struggle. She says, "You're a serial killer. You love that you're getting away with murder and you cannot wait to kill again. Have you learned nothing?" All of this appears to be
calling him out,
connected to
Deb.
that kill and the disposal of the body. Now that he can't throw them in the ocean anymore, it looks like he burns the remains of his victims. But based on what Deb's saying, I'm wondering if this is a one-off. Maybe related to that shot of the police busting into this house. You see there's a person slumped over in a chair here who looks like he was a drug dealer.
Yeah, it looks like some
I can
drugs on the
see this
table.
shot of Dexter hitting someone in the last teaser being connected to that. Maybe this guy had some.
Wait, doesn't that look like the kid that showed up that said he was a Harrison? Or am I just imagining it? Does this look like a kid? I mean, look at the sneakers and stuff. Is this supposed to be somebody else? I was like, wait, did he just punch his
Thing
kid?
to do with the drug dealer, and maybe that's where Dex feels justified in taking this guy out. I'm not exactly sure how that would jive with him not acting on his urges, but we'll have to wait and see. It's a little curious because they said they wanted to switch things up to get
Ooh,
out
I
of
like
that
Michael's
big
shirt
bad
there.
of the season kind of framework that they had been stuck in. But this all sort of looks like a serial killer in town with the addition
This looks
of
like
a kill of
Deathloop
the
right now.
week. So maybe what they're saying is that there'll be hints of that, but it won't be the crux of the entire season.
Dex voiceover be like, I never understood birthdays. Oh my gosh, yes, Carol. Yes. Okay, so Dexter's voiceover as like the narrator of the show, so good. So good. Like seriously, it added so much. I love when you know, you can't necessarily like show on paper or something, or even in the show like what the character's thinking a lot of the times. And for Dexter especially, to have that narration added so much to the show.
There's also some more shots at this crime scene in the woods. Angela is behind the crime scene tape looking at a pool of blood on the snow, and one of the other cops makes a joke about Dexter being queasy at the sight of blood. There's also the first shot we've seen of Jamie Chung. She's taking a selfie at the crime scene. We know her character is being described as a famous true crime podcaster, which would probably have a pretty big social media presence. All of that makes you
so young
wonder
there.
if someone from his old life will recognize Dexter's photo online. We also see this shot
that's
of a
a
woman
good
coming out of
point.
an underground cellar.
That's a
To
really
me,
good
it looks
point.
like the same woman from the missing poster, and you see this ski mask killer who has.
What? No, that doesn't look like her. Do you guys think that looks like the girl there? Look at. Okay, look at this girl's face. I'm looking at it. I'm memorizing it.
The same woman from the missing.
Who? These, I mean, you know, these ladies look maybe middle-aged, you know, and that girl looked a lot younger. I don't feel like that girl looks like any of these people. I mean, this one we can't see. I don't feel like they look the same at all.
And you see this ski mask killer who has a rifle with a laser scope. He's popped up in the other teasers. I saw some comments saying this character is probably based on the serial killer Robert Hansen, who killed at least 17 women in Anchorage, Alaska in the 70s and early 80s.
Oh, creepy,
His
based
MO
on a
was to
real
pick up
person?
sex workers and take them to his remote cabin at gunpoint, where he would rape them and then release them in a
gosh.
secluded area to hunt them like wild game before shooting or stabbing them. It looks like this might be what the mystery man's doing as well, as we see the girl run
It
through the snow
totally
before
does
getting
look like
shot.
that's what's
It makes
happening
you wonder
here.
about the shots we've seen of Dexter in the woods with the hunting rifle.
Maybe
and
Dexter's
there's
hunting the
another
hunter.
shot of him in this trailer where he's running in a wooded area. There's a couple of weird shots I can't make much out of. There's a person who comes up to one of Dexter's windows in his cabin and knocks on it with a bullet. And then there's this other shot of a kid looking through something like a mail slot in a door.
The kid I thought was
As
Harry
the
at
mystery
first.
man pulls on his ski mask, we hear Dexter say, "Monsters walk among us. I might still be a monster, but I'm an evolving monster." And I can't wait to find out what he's thinking about there. One of the most exciting scenes is Deb looking at evidence on the floor of Dexter's cabin.
I don't know, whatever you call her, angel on the shoulder, devil on the shoulder, whatever. And being able to play devil's advocate, if you will, and kind of like coach him like Harry did, and help him solve the case and stuff and get the right guy, right? Like the bad guy.
This sort of makes it look like she's a real person or alive or something along those lines, but the creators have confirmed that she is in his head, similar to how Harry used to be. In that capacity, she seems to be looking at evidence trying to solve the case. There's pictures of blood on the snow, similar to what we saw Angela looking at earlier. You can also see these pieces of red string at the crime scenes. It looks like that.
Wait, does this look like Michael C. Hall in the middle? Does this look like Dexter in the middle? I don't think that's supposed to be him if these are like victims or something, but doesn't this look like Michael C. Hall from this angle? I feel like that looks like him.
That's the killer's calling card, and next to those photos, there's 5 photos of people. You see Dexter and Angela, and then 3 new characters.
That is
Clancy
Dexter and Angela.
Brown, who's playing Kurt Caldwell,
Not
the
crazy.
owner of a local truck stop who is a sort of unofficial mayor of the small town. What looks like this guy who shows up a little later in the trailer with a rifle and some blood on his face. And this other guy who we saw waving a knife around, kind of joking about it at Dexter's job.
Dexter's like, okay, let me go see if this guy's done anything because I want to kill you.
In a final scene that follows the title and the release date, Dexter comes into his cabin and finds a teenager inside looking at his stuff. When he asks him what he's doing, he finds out it's his son Harrison. They did give this away a couple weeks ago. They confirmed that it was Harrison and that he would show up in the first episode. And what's crazy about seeing it is how that's going to work with everything else that we've already seen. In my last video, I talked about how Clyde Phillips told the TCA that there wasn't a way to go back and revisit Dexter without including the theme of fathers and sons. And so here we get a look at their reintroduction.
That was a big theme.
Now, it would probably take a whole nother video to get into all the different speculation about how this might work. How Harrison figured out he wasn't dead, how he was able to track him down in upstate New York, how old is he really, because he should only be about 13 years old, and they're obviously aging him up some here.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I mean, when I first saw that kid peeking through like the door, I was like, is that Harrison? But I was thinking, wait, that kid's too young. But this guy seems too old. It's like, I think he's right. I think like they said it's about a 10, unless they did like a time jump in the story. It was only like about a decade, you know, it's only been about a decade. So he should be, yeah, like about, I would say, yeah, like that's close, around 13. And that guy seems what, closer like 17 maybe, right?
Here. But as far as this video is concerned, you can see that his presence is going to make things even more complicated in Dexter's life. And that's all the big stuff we see in the trailer.
Lumberjack
when I was
Dexter!
looking at what people were talking about after it dropped, I noticed some people wondering if Deb was really alive or if maybe the kid in his apartment is someone else pretending to be Harrison. Unless everyone involved
that would
with
be
the
lame.
show
I hope that's not
willfully
true.
misdirecting us, then I don't expect either one of those things to be the case. They've said in multiple interviews that Deb is essentially taking Harry's place, and that Dexter and Harrison coming back together is a main focal point of the season. They also said they weren't changing anything that already happened, and Deb definitely did die in the finale. It all looks great. This trailer especially looked pretty impressive, and it contrasts so well with the old setting in Miami and the old Dexter. Each new thing they put out increases my interest in revisiting this character. I think I probably will put together a Harrison video because it's a little hard to say right now how well that's going to go over. Out of everything that we've seen, it's the one thing that feels like it might not work at this point. But I suppose the idea that they thought it was essential and they thought it was a good enough reason to bring the series back. The rest of the new characters all look pretty interesting. I like the idea of bringing someone in who has a platform. Obviously, this podcaster might be looking into the Trinity Killer, and considering that Rita was one of his victims, that might make an exciting situation. I mean, she wouldn't be in upstate New York for that. It looks like she's probably coming for this new killer, but you can see how any attention from her or her followers would be potentially awful for Dexter. And I think that's a good place to leave things.
So if you haven't seen Dexter yet, now's your chance to get caught up because it's like one of the best series, I think. And the fact that it's all coming back is getting me super hyped. And I thought that was really interesting. I thought he made some great points. The fact that he pointed out on the calendar, Dexter's like marking days. And yeah, I'm not sure. What do you guys think? Do you think it's how many days he's been at this new place? Or how many days since his last kill? That's very fascinating. And I really am interested to see how young Harrison is gonna fit in with everything else we've seen in the trailer, like you pointed out. You know, and how that's all gonna unfold. It's super exciting, and I love that Jennifer Carpenter is coming back. It's interesting that there's true crime broadcasters, so relevant. Oh yeah, exactly, Caro. I think that was really cool. I somehow missed that in the trailer originally when he pointed out, he's like, we know this. I'm like, oh, we did? Like, I didn't know that. So she's like a kind of like a famous or well-known podcaster, and she's maybe posting on social media, and the fact that he pointed out like maybe people from Dexter's past will recognize him because he looks pretty unique. I mean, he's definitely recognizable, and that would be interesting, right? Have people see him and then become aware that, well, I won't spoil, but that he is in fact living in this new area.